Okay, let's unpack this. One of the big things, the material we've been looking at really zeroes in on is how artificial intelligence seems to, well, challenge our fundamental human sense of what is real.
Yeah, and it's fascinating how much we value that distinction, isn't it?
Totally.
Knowing the difference between, reality and unreality, it feels like such a key part of how we navigate the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the material gives a simple example, right?
Yeah.
You see an image, maybe someone working at a desk, but hang on, they have way too many arms.
Right.
And you immediately think, okay, something's off here. That's not real.
Yeah.
It's like a clear tell.
But the challenge, and this is what the material really highlights, is that as AI gets better, those simple tells are rapidly starting to just vanish.
Yeah.
That line between images that are genuinely real and those that are entirely AI generated is, well, it's blurring significantly.
So there's this palpable shift happening, this imbalance almost. And the core question this deep dive into the material asks is, okay, is this blurring, this challenge to our perception of reality, actually something entirely new?
Or have we seen versions of this before?
Exactly. Have we encountered this kind of thing previously?
That's precisely what we're here to explore. So let's dig into the material you've provided and see what insights it offers on this whole dynamic.
Okay, let's start there then.
Yeah.
Is this truly unprecedented? The material actually takes us back quite a ways, specifically to Halloween night in 1938.
Right, the infamous War of the Worlds radio broadcast, which was, designed as a drama based on H.G. Wells's novel depicting a Martian invasion.
And the key thing, according to the material, was how it was produced. It wasn't just a straightforward play reading.
No, not at all. It used simulated news bulletins, these urgent breaking news reports, incredibly realistic sound effects.
It was crafted to sound exactly like a real news broadcast unfolding live.
And the impact, well, as detailed in the material, it was pretty significant. Some listeners who tuned in late, they missed the introduction that clearly stated it was fiction.
Right.
They were genuinely convinced it was real news reporting and an actual invasion. It apparently caused quite a stir across the USA.
Even if, as the material notes, the scale of the public panic might have been, let's say, exaggerated in later accounts.
There's also that interesting historical footnote in the material about the media landscape back then.
Oh, yeah?
Newspapers, apparently wary of radio as this new competing news medium, were reportedly quite eager to portray it as, an unreliable source. Maybe jump on this story a bit.
Interesting context. So that event certainly underscored the potential for confusion, right? It forced a kind of public reckoning with the real versus unreal distinction in this new medium.
Definitely put a line in the sand. But stepping back a bit, the material itself kind of poses the question. Isn't creating that temporary sense that the unreal is real, that moment of suspended disbelief, isn't that precisely what drama and storytelling have always tried to do?
That's a great point. And it leads us neatly to something else the material makes clear about the world we live in now.
Which is?
The massive existing industry dedicated entirely to unreality.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a global multi-billion-dollar industry. Its entire purpose is producing content featuring unreal people, depicting impossible events, crafting these fantastical scenarios.
And we don't just accept it, we actively embrace it. We celebrate it.
Yeah, we give out awards for it, annual accolades for the best ways to depict things that absolutely do not exist in reality.
Think about it, films where dinosaurs are running riot through cities, wizards flying on broomsticks.
Or that classic tagline for the Superman movie, "You'll believe a man can fly."
Exactly.
And the material is careful to add some nuance here. For the vast majority of people watching these films, that suspension of disbelief is, well, temporary.
Right. They don't usually walk out of the cinema genuinely expecting to see dragons or trying to leap off tall buildings themselves.
Generally not, no.
Though the material does mention documented cases where humans have struggled with this distinction, even outside of AI content.
Like what?
Actors who played really compelling villains receiving real-world abuse because some audience members found it genuinely difficult to separate the performer from the role.
Right, the drama from reality, that distinction gets blurred for some.
So if creating and depicting unreality isn't new, and we're kind of okay with it in many contexts, what specifically has AI introduced into this long-standing human endeavor?
Well, that's where the material really highlights three key things: scale, speed, and cost.
Okay.
Before AI, producing highly realistic, fantastical dramas, particularly the stuff with sophisticated visual effects, was just prohibitively expensive.
Right. It consumed vast amounts of money and, crucially, human labor. The material points out you only need to look at the incredibly long credit list on blockbuster films.
Thousands of names sometimes.
Exactly. It shows the sheer scale of human effort involved.
And AI is, well, it's dramatically disrupting that whole equation. AI-driven video production is rapidly approaching the capability to create the kind of complex, non-reality content that just very recently only dedicated high-budget VFX companies could even hope to produce.
The material does note it's, quote, not there yet across the board, but the practical shift is already significant.
How so?
Well, a small team leveraging AI tools can now produce a scene much, much faster and far, far cheaper than was previously possible.
We're talking potentially hundreds of thousands less in cost, requiring vastly fewer people.
And compressing weeks, maybe months of work into mere days.
Wow. That scale of change is huge. And the shift in production capability also feeds into an interesting debate that the material frames around originality.
Right. The argument you sometimes hear against AI content is because these models are trained on absolutely massive data sets of human-generated stuff.
Billions of images, texts.
Anything they produce must inherently be unoriginal, right?
Yeah.
Just a remix of existing human work.
But the material presents a really compelling counter-argument to that.
Which is?
It points out that human-generated content also originates from people who have spent their entire lives absorbing culture. You know, films, books, art, music, life experiences. We're described in the material as basically walking, talking pattern recognition machines.
I like that. So the comparison drawn is that even an innovative human filmmaker hasn't lived in a vacuum, right?
Exactly. Their ideas are deeply influenced by countless stories, films, real-life interactions, essentially, their own complex internal training data.
So their supposedly original content is also derived and extrapolated from this lifetime of absorption and influence.
Precisely. So the material's conclusion on this aspect is quite definitive. The genie is now well and truly out of the bottle for filmmaking.
And it may never be the same.
Yeah. Though it does add a potential positive spin, too.
Which is
the possibility of enabling smaller, independent filmmakers to achieve much higher visual quality, maybe more ambitious projects, at a significantly lower cost. Democratizing it, perhaps?
Okay, that's an interesting angle. So looking ahead then, the material gives us a glimpse of the future, and it notes the relentless speed of AI video development. New models seem to pop up constantly.
It's moving incredibly fast. And one of the first impacts we're likely to see, according to the source, is in creating storyboards for films.
Right, and the prediction isn't just, like, simple sketches anymore.
No, the material expects AI to generate actual video clips for each scene.
Wow.
Becoming more detailed and sophisticated over time, and potentially maybe even being used directly within the final production itself.
That's quite a leap.
Perhaps the most significant potential future impact mentioned, and this is where things get particularly intriguing, I think,
Go on.
is the ability to clone actors' voices and images with startling accuracy.
Okay, yeah, we're seeing early versions of that already. And the consequence of that, as the material outlines it,
Is making it increasingly difficult, if not impossible, to tell where a real human actor's performance ends.
and an AI-generated performance begins. That seamless blend.
Which brings us back kind of full circle to the core question the material leaves us wrestling with. What will that do to our perception of reality?
So let's try and pull together the main threads from the material we've explored here. Creating content that depicts unreality, that's clearly not a new human thing.
Nope. We've seen historical examples like War of the Worlds, and we have this huge established entertainment industry built around it today.
However, AI fundamentally changes the landscape. It drastically increases the scale, the speed, and critically the affordability of producing this kind of content.
Yeah, the material makes it clear that the boundary, the line between content we know is fabricated and content that is virtually indistinguishable from reality.
Well, it's blurring incredibly fast.
And it's moving beyond just static images now into dynamic video and even performance itself.
Look, this isn't just some academic discussion. It directly impacts you listening right now. Absolutely. It affects how you consume media, how you navigate trusting the visual and auditory information you encounter every single day, online, on TV, everywhere.
So here's the final thought, building on the material. If that line between a human performance and an AI performance becomes truly invisible, how does that fundamentally change your experience of watching a film or consuming digital media? What does it feel like?
And what new questions or, frankly, challenges does this blurring of lines create for you when you're just trying to figure out what's authentic in this digital age?
Something definitely worth considering as you encounter more and more of this content moving forward.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.